In the headlines tonight, Ethiopian President Sahle Zewde says quality products are key for economic development. The Ethiopian Diaspora Service is ready to provide recognition to Ethiopian diaspora organizations. Good evening to you all. A very warm welcome to ETV News. I'm Grum Tariku. The FDRE Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed held a telephone conversation today with French President Emmanuel Macron. Their conversation covered a range of multifaceted cooperation between the two countries. Prime Minister Abiy stated that the cooperation between Ethiopia and France is built based on the mutual trust and respect which spans 125 years. Always good talking to my friend President Emmanuel Macron. The cooperation between our two countries spans 125 years based on trust and respect. Today we have discussed various facets of our cooperation. Prime Minister Abiy tweeted after his discussion with French President. President of the International Committee of the Red Cross, ICRC, Mariana Spolarczyk, has arrived in Addis Ababa for a two-day official visit. According to ICRC Ethiopia, Mariana Spolarczyk is expected to meet Ethiopian government officials and officials of the Ethiopian Red Cross Society and African Union officials as well. The ICRC stated that the president of ICRC is also expected to meet and discuss with various officials about the humanitarian situation in the country and the impact of conflict in the region and affected communities. Ethiopian President Sahle Zewde says no one could compromise on the production of quality products as it is a key development factor of a nation's economy. The president also called upon Ethiopian diaspora and Ethiopian nationals who are residing abroad to invest in Ethiopia in various sectors for the development of the country. Shagayamata has more on this.
Ethiopian President Sahle Zewde visited Horizon Addis Tire factory that won quality assurance certificate for 3 consecutive years for its outstanding performance from Ethiopian Quality Award Organization. While visiting the overall activities of the factory, the president lauded Horizon Addis Tire factory, which is the only tire factory in Ethiopia and a branch company of Midro Group, for its excellent handling of employees and job creation.
Workers are the most mandatory elements in a factory. Without vibrant workers, machines alone are nothing. Therefore, keeping the protection of workers is essential, and I have witnessed a good working culture and proper handling of workers in this factory.
Appreciating Sheikh Mohammed Hussein Ali Alamuddin for establishing a large investment Midro company, she called upon Ethiopian diasporas residing abroad to play their unprecedented role to invest in various sectors in Ethiopia.
Your role is indispensable for the existence as well as the economic development of the country. So I call upon all of you to play your share in this venture.
Ethiopian news agency reported that, awarded for 3 consecutive years for its outstanding performance, Horizon Addis factory is producing quality tire products for heavy vehicles.
Commander of the Peacekeeping Center of the Ethiopian National Defense Forces, Major General Adamne Mengistu, said effective maneuvers are expected to be undertaken in order for Ethiopia to be able to maintain its long-standing engagement in the United Nations peacekeeping missions. In the 6 months work performance review held at the center, the commander said that Ethiopia should enhance its ascendancy in order to protract its participation in international peacekeeping missions. He commended the example of the cost-saving measures taken by the Horso Contingent Training School in renovating and returning government properties to work. The commander stated that the peacekeeping force engaged in the international peacekeeping mission should continue the effective peacekeeping operation and transform the reputation of Ethiopia to a higher level. IMF expects the economies of Ethiopia and Angola this year to expand by 13.5% and 8.6% respectively on dollar terms. However, Kenya is projected to record slower growth of 2.4% of the review period as the country grapples with the aftershocks of COVID-19 pandemic, drought, election litters, and disruption of global supply chain by the Russia-Ukraine war.
Welcome to the land of origins. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia is pleased to serve all your traveler banking needs. If you have money from any of these 16 countries, you can convert it to local currency by visiting our nearest branch. Alternatively, our secure Forex ATMs accept cash exchange, or if you prefer using your cards, we've partnered with Visa, MasterCard, and UnionPay so that you can withdraw cash from our local ATMs or make cashless transactions at thousands of local POS partners securely and with confidence. We are linked with more than 700 global banks through our direct SWIFT address, CBE Teta. We also work with 16 international money transfer agents, out of which Tune and World Remit enable you to make direct deposits into our savings and current accounts or our popular CBE Birr mobile wallet. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia, the bank you can always rely on.
Welcome back, and you are watching ETV News. The Ethiopian Diaspora Service is undertaking activities to provide recognition to Ethiopian diaspora organizations who have contributed greatly to the national interest of Ethiopia in various fields all over the world. Approached by ETV, Diaspora Community Development Director of the Ethiopian Diaspora Service, Nabiyu Solomon, said the event is intended to give recognition and thanks for the diaspora on the work done to protect the interest of the country and strengthen public diplomacy. Johannes van Town has the following account.
When Ethiopia has been under a lot of pressure for the past few years due to undue external forces, In addition to the policies and various political solutions adopted in the country to deal with the problem, the contribution of the Ethiopian diaspora organizations in different parts of the world has been playing significant role. Members of the Ethiopian diaspora community in different parts of the world have made a great contribution on remittance by directly opposing the pressure of international institutions and countries in a bid to support the nation's economy. The Ethiopian Diaspora Service is undertaking preparation in order to recognize the unprecedented role of Ethiopian diasporas. Talking to ETV English Diaspora Community Development Director at the Ethiopian Diaspora Service, Nabiyu Solomon said the recognition will help to encourage the Ethiopian diaspora to strengthen their support for their country in the future.
The main genres or sectors which are focused by this recognition is like knowledge and skill transfer. It means those diasporas who contributed an enormous amount of support and contribution to their country in terms of knowledge and skill transfer, remittance, community development, development finance, like financing mega projects which are going on, national mega projects in Ethiopia, like the GERD. And also there are, a way of saying thank you for Ethiopian advocacy teams, those who are participating in advocacy and supporting national projects. And also there will be a recognition for diaspora public diplomacy activity participants in general.
According to Solomon, various incentives are being implemented at the national level for the Ethiopian diaspora communities.
There are a number of opportunities and incentives for the diasporas to engage in their countries. The first one is introducing a yellow card, which enables them to participate in their countries as citizens, as first citizens, as citizens of their original country of origin. And also there is an introduction of different enormous incentives in investment, in trade, in diaspora remittance opportunities, and also diaspora accounts, which enables them to save their own cash or money, foreign currency monies, here in their countries. And at the same time, based on its mandate, Ethiopian Diaspora Service always supports diaspora initiatives and also at the same time recognized by organizing such kind of events.
The diaspora organizations outside the country have carried out many activities to protect Ethiopia's national interests. According to the Ethiopian Diaspora Service, the recognition program is where the country appreciates its diaspora.
At the Royal Danish Embassy here in Addis Ababa, the Danish Minister of Development Cooperation and Global Climate Policy, Dan Jørgensen, held a press conference. The minister elaborated on the years of development cooperation between Ethiopia and Denmark and said his country wishes to strengthen the long-standing relations. According to the minister, Denmark is Ethiopia's main development partner and is prepared to deepen its ties with Ethiopia in a number of areas, including the Green Legacy Project and green renewable energy, because Denmark has a wealth of expertise in these areas.
Very often, if a country is dealing with some of the challenges that Ethiopia is dealing with, refugees, lack of food, water, other places, they might be reluctant to also have high ambitions on a green transition. And that is understandable, because you cannot deal with all problems at the same time. But Ethiopia is actually managing to deal with both addressing the challenges that you as a country are facing right now, but also preparing for the future and working towards fighting climate change and being a leader and front runner in that. So I think that the green legacy is an example that I would hope other countries would follow, and I understand also that already now it's possible to export small trees to other countries that they can then plant. This is of course fantastic. Planting trees is one of the best ways to fight climate change, because not only will it extract carbon from the atmosphere, it also has positive effects vis-a-vis biodiversity. Some trees, if it's a plantation.
Following his visit to the internally displaced people in Afar, Jurgensen has stated that his government is prepared to assist Ethiopia's government in reconstructing and rebuilding war-affected areas alongside with other foreign development partners.
We also know that you are facing very serious challenges these years. We know very well that the conflict that hopefully now has come to an end has given many reasons to concern vis-a-vis some of the also more what you might call traditional challenges. So the fact that there's so many refugees in the areas of the country where there's also drought, where there's also lack of drinking water as a result of the drought, where it's difficult for people to find water for their livestock, where it's difficult to get medicine enough, where it's difficult to have education for children in school. All of these things are interlinked, and we want to help solve these problems and make life better for as many people as we can.
Professor Alemayehu Gebremariem suggested possible ways how Ethiopia can transform its socio-economic well-beings by scrapping bottlenecks which is facing the nation. According to the professor, few ideas of change to transform the nation are transform Ethiopian intellectuals into a formidable force of prosperity and progress, getting involved in articulating a vision, creating and maintaining think tanks, establishing expert panels, teaching the youth, teaching the people, and finally act in solidarity with them. Tigist Sarnesa has gone through the rest of the commentary.
Professor Alemayehu Gebremariem, who teaches political science at California State University, San Bernardino, in his commentary entitled Message to Ethiopian Intellectuals, A Mind is a Terrible Thing to Waste, discussed that in 1972 the United Negro College Fund launched a very successful advertising slogan, A Mind is a Terrible Thing to Waste. It was part of a fundraising campaign aimed at enrolling young, beautiful minds from low-income families into historically black colleges. The commentary further stated that in 2022, black students made up 12% of student population at four-year U.S. public higher education institutions. In 2022, the percentage of people in U.S. prisons and jails who are black is over 38%. What a terrible waste of beautiful minds. Almariem's commentary is intended to be a clarion call to Ethiopian intellectuals to stop wasting their minds, and with the fires of urgency of now to pull back from the abyss of reactionary, toxic, ethnic, tribal politics and become revolutionary forces, intellectual vanguards of national reconciliation, development, and prosperity. The commentary further reiterated that whatever problems Ethiopia has is not going to be solved by the West or East. It will not be solved by superpowers or regional powers. It will not be solved by multilateral banks and institutions. Ethiopia's problem will be solved by beautiful Ethiopian minds innovating, creating, inventing, imagining, envisioning, researching, civilly discussing, dialoguing, arguing, and debating. But Almariem argues that beautiful Ethiopian minds are wasting and atrophying before our eyes. Ethiopian intellectual horsepower and candle power remains idle, and without an organized body to transfer it to Ethiopia and transform Ethiopian society, economy, and politics. The commentary indicated that the gates of Ethiopia's prosperity will open when Ethiopians open their eyes and minds and behold the extraordinary wealth they have in their land, history, culture, tradition, and galvanizing potential of current generation of youth to propel Ethiopia to the height of prosperity. From time immemorial, there has been only one Ethiopia. There is only one Ethiopia today. There will be only one Ethiopia until kingdom comes. Ethiopia today stands at the fork in the road, the commentary indicated. Almariem further stated that one road is called prosperity, the other poverty. Prosperity road is one much less traveled by the Ethiopian people. Poverty road is a dirt road full of potholes and crisscrosses Ethiopia. Poverty road's destination is always a dead end, he says. He further elaborated that it is noble and sacred duty of Ethiopian intellectuals to pave over poverty road and use minds to turn Ethiopia into multi-lane highways and freeways of prosperity and progress. Al-Mariam further stated that Ethiopian minds, hearts, guts kept Ethiopia free and independent for thousands of years. Ethiopian minds, hearts, and guts will keep Ethiopia free, independent, and prosperous until kingdom come. He added that he saw millions of Ethiopian youths yearning, craving, and hungering to learn, to imagine, to discover, to innovate, to create, to invent, and asked himself and Ethiopia's diaspora intellectuals, why not help them? Why not? It's not terrible to waste one Ethiopian mind, millions of young Ethiopian minds, he noted. Al-Mariam argues that the challenge of Ethiopian intellectuals is to find ways of transforming themselves into public intellectuals, and he further suggested the following few ideas to transform Ethiopian intellectuals into a formidable force of prosperity and progress: getting involved, articulating a vision, creating and maintaining think tanks, establishing expert panels, teaching the youth, teaching the people, and finally, act in solidarity with them.
In our business news item, some Russian anchor companies expressed desire to engage in various sectors in Ethiopia, saying that the conducive climate created in post-war Ethiopia has served them as a catalyst. The companies made the remark after displaying their products at the FORS International Trade Exhibition in Addis Ababa on Monday. Meanwhile, Russian ambassador to Ethiopia told ETV that the decision by the companies helped the long-standing Russia-Ethiopia relations blossom via technology transfer. Thomas Shagre takes it from here.
Over 100 international companies from over 30 countries displayed their products and services in the FORS International Trade Exhibition in Addis Ababa. The Russian involvement is expected to complement and consolidate the already established bilateral cooperation between Ethiopia and the Russian Federation in different sectors, agriculture, industry, and education being the prominent ones. Given Ethiopia's commitment to help Russian companies find their place in Africa, investment opportunities in fields such as manufacturing, agriculture, mining, tourism, electricity, and military technical cooperation, among others, stand out for the companies.
5 companies from Russia are presented. As far as I understand, most of them are engaging in production of different items which are essential, especially for construction and building industries. As we all know, construction business is now booming in Ethiopia, so I hope that our companies will find a good market for their products here in your country. As well, we're sure that such kind of events as this exhibition are always very useful in terms of establishing trade and business relations directly between businessmen, business persons of different countries. And I'm sure that especially in the future, more Russian businessmen will come here not only to present their own products, but as well as to make choice of Ethiopian export products, which could be of interest for our consumers.
Over 100 international companies are displaying products and services in the area of food and kitchen, medical and healthcare, automotive and spare parts, plastic, printing and packaging, solar products, among others. Exhibitors for their part said the exhibition is critical to promote products and services as well as to create business-to-business ties with other companies.
We produce the skirting boards from MDF, and we also produce the walls panels that can be used either for walls or like the facade of the building's exterior and interior design. So we have different shapes that why we call it modular, because you can mix them together and you can, it's like a construction. It's very easy to install, like no need some special knowledges, just glue it and you will have a very beautiful like wall, or you can use it even in the bathroom.
Welcome to the land of origins. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia is pleased to serve all your traveler banking needs. If you have money from any of these 16 countries, you can convert it to local currency by visiting our nearest branch. Alternatively, our secure Forex ATMs accept cash exchange, or if you prefer using your cards, we've partnered with Visa, MasterCard, and UnionPay so that you can withdraw cash from our local ATMs or make cashless transactions at thousands of local POS partners securely and with confidence. We are linked with more than 700 global banks through our direct SWIFT address, CBE Teta. We also work with 16 international money transfer agents, out of which Tune and WorldRemit enable you to make direct deposits into our savings and current accounts or our popular CBE Birr mobile wallet. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia, the bank you can always rely on.
Welcome back, and you are watching ETV News. Israel's army and the U.S. Central Command announced the beginning of a massive joint military exercise in the Jewish state, according to a senior defense official. Dubbed the Juniper Oak exercise, the drill is the most significant exercise between the United States and Israel to date and will involve over 140 aircraft, 12 naval vessels, and artillery system from both nations, and will last until Friday, CENTCOM said in a statement. Kasaun Chane has the latest.
The joint military training is described as the most significant exercise between the United States and Israel. In a statement, Israel's army said Juniper Oak is meant to test United States-Israeli readiness and improve the interoperability of forces as well as target strikes and training in complex terrain while integrating joint communications and command and control systems.
To answer your last question up front, no, this is not meant to be oriented around any single adversary or threat. As you know, the United States maintains many relationships in the Middle East region with many countries. Israel is one of our closest partners in the region. And as I mentioned, this gives us the opportunity to work together to increase interoperability, to be able to respond to a variety of contingencies and threats, so that should we need to operate together, we can do so seamlessly.
The previous Israeli Chief of Staff, Aviv Kochavi, was transferred from the United States European Command Area of Responsibility to CENTCOM, allowing more coordination with Air Sarab Nibals. CENTCOM Commander General Mikhail Eric Correa met last week with Israel's new Chief of Staff, Herzi Halevi, and Kochavi at the exchange ceremony. Correa also held a meeting with Israel's new Defense Minister, Yoav Gallant, in Tel Aviv.
This exercise is focused on interoperability and strengthening our security relationship in terms of working together. And as evidenced by, most recently the counter-ISIS campaign, the ability to pull air forces together seamlessly and operate in a way that is going to be effective is vital. And so this is one aspect of that, although the exercise is obviously more than just about air power. And so, again, it's not intended to be focused on any one single adversary or threat. It's all about working together.
The United States Central Command said that in the meeting, Korea discussed common traits ways to strengthen ties between our two militaries and on upcoming joint training exercise. An Israeli army spokesman said the United States notified Israel about the move, that the weapons are American-owned and that the move was American business and did not require Israeli permission.
The day that's their decision given the situation on the ground. Okay. Let me go to the phone here real quick. Howard Altman.
Over now to a quick reminder of the headlines. Ethiopian President Sahle-Work Zewde says quality products are key for economic development. The Ethiopian Diaspora Service is ready to provide recognition to Ethiopian diaspora organizations. Well, you have been watching ETV News. Thanks for your company and have a great time.